Is it true that people that live together before marriage are more likely to get divorced? Kind of. Listen, I can tell you've been listening to Dave Ramsey or somebody else who's been listening to Dave Ramsey because you are using his term here, shack up. Nobody uses that term anymore. A lot of religious people love to throw out this statistic to be like, look, God's ways are superior. You should not have sex before marriage or live together before marriage because look, the studies show that people who live together before marriage are more likely to get divorced. This only sounds good if you have no critical thinking skills. And this person's like, I'll show you the studies. I'll prove it to you. And I'm like, I literally studied this at school. My minor is human development and family studies. We studied these studies. And even my extremely religious Mormon professor of that class was like, this stat is a little messed up. First of all, any study in and of itself doesn't prove anything. It has to be multiple studies that will lead evidence to. And what you're referring to here is more of correlation rather than causation. People aren't getting divorced because they're living together before marriage. That I hope you aren't like dumb enough to believe that. What's happening here is that people who don't live together before marriage are more likely to be religious. And guess what? A lot of religions don't even allow or highly discourage divorce. People who live together before marriage are likely to be less religious, maybe still spiritual, but less in like a hardcore Orthodox religion. And they're a lot more likely to leave unhealthy and abusive relationships. Having a long marriage is not an indicator that you are having a happy or a healthy marriage. And also, if you learn anything about how studies are done, every study has flaws and limits and biases. And one of the things that was not controlled for in the studies you're referring to are age differences, the age at time of first commitment. What they're finding now is that the younger you are when you make your first big commitment, whether it's getting married or cohabitating, that is one of the biggest factors. So if you're like 18 and moving in with somebody or like getting married at 18, you're much more likely to get divorced than somebody who's making those big lifetime commitments a little bit later down the road. One study I found said that they were saying around 23 is a good age to start making some of those bigger commitments. Earlier than that, you've got a much higher chance of getting divorced later on. So you defending the Mormon Church encouraging barely teenage adults to get married if they're having sex with anyone, no, that's not the right thing to do. That's gross, and they're going to be much more likely to end up in unhealthy relationships or getting divorced later on. So no, this is wrong. Sorry. I'm not really sorry.